Okay, so I'm going to be interviewing.
Sure. Okay.
I have prepared some questions.
Uh-huh.
So I would like to ask first. You have worked mostly with digital industries throughout your career. So, what have your experience been so far over the course of your shifts in this industry so far?
Yeah. So most of my experience has been much more, as you said, in the digital industries, but largely because of digital, because the different digital startups have focused on disrupting large industries on their different value chains. So my experience has been in, for example, advertising technology and how that disrupts the whole old agency world. Financial services and how payments disrupts the banking industry, or if you look at e-commerce and how that has disrupted retail. And in each of these cases, it is about understanding some of the key maybe lack of value deliveries in industries, or industries that are have an old business model whereby a shift of the business model can unlock new value, or where technology can deliver maybe 10x the value where maybe the traditional agency was not adopting. So usually it's either a business model innovation or a technology driven innovation that's resulted in these digital startups to come up and then basically disrupt the big industry.
ATA is running operation mostly in Southeast Asia. So what's the main reason behind running this business mostly in the Southeast and South Asia?
Couple of reasons. For us, we see it as a huge opportunity that is completely untapped. If you look at our region, South and Southeast Asia, the amount of digital penetration and digital media use is probably less than 20% at this point of time, whereas developed markets have already moved to 50%. So there is at least a 2.5x opportunity growth within the next 3 years in the use of digital media and helping brands do that. Secondly, our heritage is largely our parent group, which is the Axiata group that owns a lot of mobile network operators across these markets. So ability to leverage their deep consumer insight and the customer access that they have built across all markets. So we're able to use that in order to be differentiated and drive data use ultimately for better targeting and more improved experience for brands with consumers.
So the main reason is mainly the untapped market and the opportunity for brands.
Totally, yeah. It's such a huge
we are seeing that brands are now mostly getting interested into data analytics in present world. So what's your take on that?
Absolutely, they should be. I think the fourth industrial revolution is all about data and how data is going to power the next growth in GDP for a lot of markets. The reason I think also brands are interested in data analytics is because it gives them deep audience insight. The old world was built around media. So it might be around, for example, a sports channel or a sports media. From that sports media, the old world decided that, okay, this type of a demographic or this type of an audience segment watches sports, so I'm going to advertise on sports. So most of the world or brands were built around media. The new world is built around audiences. It doesn't matter where those audiences are. Are those audiences on Instagram? Are they on Facebook? Or are they reading a blog? So you focus on audience, and that's where the new world is being built around. And hence, in order to understand audience, you have to understand data and you have to understand analytics to drive eventually targeting. So that's one portion of it in order to drive revenue upliftment. But also use of data analytics for driving operational efficiency in most companies and businesses. So for example, we help retail in identifying where should they put their next retail spot out or their shop. Where should a fast food joint put their next fast food restaurant? Now, in order to do that, a lot of data and analysis is used in understanding people's offline customer journeys using their location data, understanding where are the hotspots, and hence where should you put your next maybe QSR restaurant, or for example a gas station, where should they put their next petrol station, along which side of the road should it be on, what do people do before they go to the petrol station, what do they do after that, and how can maybe a gas station in this case aggregate some additional services inside their premises. It's used for that. It's also used for identifying propensity scoring. It's used for smart city planning, transportation, etc.
How AD is planning the next phase of this customer experience?
Multifold. So today, customers are mostly looking at how do you improve my ROI on my digital media or my media dollars. What sort of strategies can you provide? How can you drive more efficiency in media buying, in ad operations on Facebook, on Google, on programmatic, etc. The next phase for us, and which we've embarked with a lot of clients, is how do we help them on their data and their technology and their analytics? How do we drive more measurement and attribution across their online channels and offline channels? So for example, we believe that online digital media spending should be responsible for offline, but how do we prove that? How do we prove that if you see an ad on Facebook or Instagram, you actually went to an offline store and made the purchase? So a lot of measurement and attribution modeling for our clients. Secondly, collecting a lot of customer information who have engaged with that brand in some form of a data management platform for our clients, and how do we build that one-stop view of a consumer for brands and the whole data analytics behind it. Thirdly, today, especially in Bangladesh and many of the markets in South Asia, the customer purchase funnel still remains very offline. So for example, the amount of banking or financial services penetration, which is where you can buy an insurance product from a digital channel, is limited. Your banking is limited to a large extent. Opening a new bank account, your ability to even get on a telco or buy or get a new subscription for a telco service is very offline. So we are helping customers basically digitize their customer journey itself, and drive as much as possible through digital means, because that's where a lot of new generations are. They spend copious amounts of time on digital channels, but from a media consumption point of view, and it's time, and I think they're all asking for how do they engage more with brands, including the full purchase funnel on digital customer journeys. So we do that through what we call an outcome-based model, whereby we enable our clients to basically procure new customers with zero media risk. So we take the media risk on their behalf. We will actually drive the customer into the customer purchase funnel and only make money once it's a real revenue generating customer.
Do you have any message for the budding data enthusiasts of our country?
I mean, as I said, data is the new oil. I mean, everything will be driven by data. So at least they're on the right career track if they are a budding data enthusiast. But the most important thing that people forget is, it's end of the day, the use of data that drives business impact. So we see this on our side as well. People get so fixated on the data, they forget about the business. So the winners will be people who can blend the data insight back to the business impact that it's creating for companies. And if you can straddle the two domains, that's the best position. I recently asked at a CMO forum, are you focused on data aggregation or on use case development? Every CMO will say, I'm interested more in use cases of the data rather than the data in itself. It's the use case is the enabler to the business insight. So focusing on use cases, I think, will have higher value than the underlying data set.
So this is it.
Cool.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hopefully that was useful.